Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to Risk On, sponsored by FOMO, the best multi-chain trading application in the space. Proud to be partners with them. Sign up now using promo code Risk On to get 50% off trading fees today. What's up? Brought to you. We're here today with Sats, Swizzle, Shin, and myself. A little change here. Good to see your guys' faces.
We got Sats's face, but he
is audio
forgot how to
out now.
unmute his audio.
What a start, eh?
He
What a
was so
start.
excited to tell everybody about
The
his
big
beautiful
reveal.
face
Yeah, holy
that
shit.
he couldn't
Yeah.
press unmute. What's up, man?
Wow, that was a bad start. Bad start.
You get a second shot here.
Yeah, there you go. I don't even remember what I said. It was something interesting about the face cams and how it's a new age for Risk On right now.
It is a new age of Risk On. Stats and Swizzle made the jump. I have not made the jump because my wife doesn't like all the things I've said on Twitter.
Yeah.
And doesn't want me to get
Understandably so. Understandably so.
Couldn't get the cam. That's the bear market prices. Couldn't get the cam.
Fair market price.
Couldn't afford the cam. They are, man. Gee, I didn't know they were this expensive until I bought one. And yeah, $1,000 later, here we are. And I'm still looking like I've been flashbanged. Yeah, I spent $1,000 on this camera. $1,000, man.
Swizzle got the budget one.
Yes, Swizzle got the budget. We didn't cheap out on the mic though. Should have bought the mixer.
Yeah. Amazon Prime is a beautiful thing, man. We got the next day delivery and yeah, skin complexion looking nice compared to my guy over in the UK. Over there.
Yeah.
And then we got Shen, CEO of ethsign here, joining us. It's 6 a.m. for you, so I appreciate you getting up early and making time. What's up, man? How are you today?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good. We're good. You know, prices are okay. We only bartered once today.
Positive.
Usually we're like working on multiple barts a day, but right now it's just one. So
yeah, I think as a collective we're feeling pretty good right now with the ZEC price. I think we're all back in ZEC now. Big privacy guys.
Funny considering you guys are all showing your faces, which means you're not really privacy guys.
Yeah, look, I'm private on chain. My docs is now public though, but no, I've been playing around with it. I tried to shield some Zcash for the first time the other day. Didn't make it work. I tried my best, but yeah,
you figure it out.
No, I didn't really give it a chance. I'll be honest. I downloaded the Zashi app, and it was one of the ones where you get distracted because I'm like 12. Obviously, my attention span is 0. So I downloaded the Zashi app, got around to shielding it, and then got distracted by doing something else. Like what Swizz was saying the other day, trying to write a long form article is just tough now. Like,
I'm going to help you out with that one off stream because that one's just a couple buttons. I think you got the attention span for that. I think we can get you there. You've had quite the roller coaster of emotions within all this, though, right? Like, I feel like you've been off and on trying to figure out your thesis overall and where you stand on it. But what got you to? So you're in for good now. This is your.
I'm in for good. You're gonna
stand on this one.
Yeah, the last coin I stood on was XPL. So take that with a grain of salt. Yeah. So you're in the same coin as the guy who backed XPL now, but yeah, I'm backing for good. I couldn't be sidelined on this. Like I've believed in it for so long. This is the reason I kind of got into crypto in the first place. And seeing it rip without me was kind of tough. But yeah, I'm backing for good. I think I saved myself the emotional drawdown of holding through that drawdown to like 300-ish. So, and I lost maybe 10% of my coins by doing that, which maybe honestly probably for the best. So
yeah,
we got a question from Dap on the stream here, and he said, what about XMR? I got to be honest, just to tell you guys, I couldn't figure that out. I was like, okay, where do you go and play around with Monero? Where do you buy Monero? Because my understanding was a bunch of the centralized exchanges had delisted it. And it's not nearly as simple as I thought. It's kind of a complicated process. You gotta do some work to figure out even how to get into that game.
Wow, is it not even on anything like Kraken? I swear it was on Kraken before. Yeah,
I think it's on Kraken, but I'm not on Kraken. So I was looking at what the other alternatives were.
Yeah,
but if you're not on Kraken, then it's you got to jump through some hoops.
Wow.
So, which could be,
Jesus.
maybe that means it's early. It doesn't necessarily mean anything negative for the fundamentals of the thesis, but it definitely, I was surprised at the lack of simplicity if you are not a loyal Kraken user.
Damn. Jin, do you dabble in any privacy, or are we the only ones here?
Actually, I did lots of this before. I joined crypto because of privacy coins.
Mm.
Like I mined a lot of privacy coins, but not anymore. I don't think.
Mm.
I was an investor before I started signing. I think I was saying like I have investment narrative about this privacy coins. I say if it works, it's not investable,
Mm.
and just like for no cash, if it really works, and people will get into trouble. But if it not really works, they have a good name and is investable.
Quite the paradox then, if that's what you believe.
I saw a
Yeah.
good tweet the other day from I think it was Path Thaddeus, who I like, who was saying they've been in crypto for a while, and they had a tweet from a while ago, and it was like when I first joined crypto, it was like the only things that even made remote sense to me were Bitcoin, ETH, and Zcash. But Zcash just never even came to fruition. But they kept on building, and they kept growing, and like now it's like, okay, like is this the third pillar? That's crazy to say, but I think a lot of people do believe it now, and it's a big thing for me, I think. And I think something that a lot of people, as we continue on this path of government surveillance and so on, and people just realizing how much of their data is out there and how scary it is, and like, is there anything we can control in our life and keep our own anymore? Especially as we move away from using physical cash in our day to day lives, like everything we do, whether we buy cigarettes and our health insurance company finds out about it, whatever it is, how can we protect ourselves? So I don't know. I'm big on it, and think that it's of course here to stay. Uh, Speaking of like government privacy stuff, there's this whole like Somalian thing that happened. I don't want to talk about the politics of it, but I do. I'm not. We're not here to discuss that. But I do want to talk about, and Thread Guy talked a lot about this today, so we won't go over too much. But Nick Shirley launching a creator coin. Obviously, like he's the guy that did it all. Coin. It was a roller coaster. I think it topped to what, 9 million sats.
Yeah, it topped at 9 mil, and my entry was 7.
And you obviously sold at 9, right?
Yeah, obviously I sold the Pico top. No, I ended up selling at 3. So yeah, tough. It was that was a whole spectacle. I was in a lot of group chats. It was like the most split thing because everyone's got PTSD from these Zora coins, and rightfully so in the end. Because I was thinking, if this Nick Shirley coin doesn't take off to any significance, then what will? And yeah, Brian and Jesse just weren't. They weren't playing ball with it, even though. I talked about this as like it was fact before, but I found this out for a group chat, and someone was saying they paid him 200K to come onto Zora, but there was like apparently transactions from Brian's wallet going straight to him, which is interesting. So they paid him 200K and let the coin die, which doesn't really make any sense to me. But
yeah, I mean, the whole thing with we keep trying to recreate the wheel. It's Zora now. I feel like understandably there's a lot of polarization and discussion about this because obviously Nick Shirley was so viral over the last 72 hours with revealing the scandal, but like it's kind of like what Shin said about privacy. I sort of get the feeling of just like, well, we keep talking about how important this idea of creating a creator economy and creator coins being some type of avenue, and there's different iterations, different versions of them that we've seen with Friend Tech, with Zora, with Pump Fund tried to lean into it, but it's like what is the investable thesis? Like what exactly are we trying to accomplish by creating a coin? And it's almost like we keep starting over, and someone says, hey, I think I'm going to do it, and we're going to figure out the flaws that didn't work with how Friend Tech did it or how Pump Fund did it, but they're not answering the root question of like, why do we want this? Like, who are the people? What's the appetite for this? Is there a plan for what we're going to do with it? I don't know. I struggle to understand like what the thesis is, and it seems like people are jumping in and putting a ton of resources into building out these like platforms for it, but they're not even suggesting a plan for what they want to do. Like I think Brian Armstrong retweeted when the coin got created, but Coinbase did that, or Base did that, and then are they even going to follow through and never say anything about it again, or they're just hoping it was going to take off and people are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to buy this coin of Nick? I don't know.
They're like highlighting the fees now. Like they're sort of moving away from the token and going, oh, Nick Shirley made 36K off this. Like this is amazing. But I don't know, in the probably grand scheme of things and what happened in the last 72 hours, I don't think he cares about making 70 or 32K or 36K or whatever it was. But yeah, it just felt like a bit of a mismanaged mess from their side. And I've got to say, that was the last Zora coin I ever buy. I'm done. I'm now done with that. And I think I said that the last coin I bought. So yeah, I'm not done. I'm not done.
There is no world you're done. It is so incredible to me that they would dump 200 grand into it and just let this thing die. And this is the ultimate example of what Pump Fund called CCM and what Zora calls creator coins. They're all branding the same shit differently. But this is like the most viral moment we've had in 6 months, probably. And they got the guy who created that viral moment to create a coin, and it dropped at $9 million. Like, if that's not a sign that this isn't it, and this doesn't work, then I don't know what is going to be that sign. And I think Say from FOMO, I read a tweet of his about how we need to. The only way that like the creator stuff works is if the stars of the creator meta are born in crypto. And I think that's really true. Like when TikTok started, it wasn't like they were bringing like Brad Pitt onto TikTok to like be the face of TikTok. It was Charlie D'Amelio and like natural people who like built up TikTok, who then became celebrities in and of themselves. And Say said this on the podcast with us, but I think that's how it has to happen, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it has to be someone from the space. Like the only example we have right now is White Whale, and that's going up. But I feel like that's more of a crime thing at the moment. Like,
well, but and actually, this happened. Like the stuff Say was talking about was basically like he has this goal with the social leaderboard, turning trading into kind of like this social-fi activity of this guy Remus. He put $30 or $40 into the coin. All of a sudden, he's up 500K, and now he's got like 6,000 or 7,000 followers on the app, like natively over 24 hours, just because they followed his trade. They all set up their copy trade bots. They're waiting to see what he's going to do next, and it's like that makes sense if you're talking about like a creator content meta in terms of like what's actually native to crypto and like the social gamification of all of this. Like, it creates like this layer of something interesting. Like, okay, we created this overnight sensation based on what everyone is here to do. But I don't know. I go back to like what I think you just said it would, like the other avenues where there's already ways for these creators to monetize that are more sustainable mechanisms that like are actually connected to what they're doing on these other platforms versus like here, it just feels like this dislocated, like random thing to have a coin made with their name on it that like is not connected to the fabric of like the crypto building or trading culture in any way. And so I don't know, like Shannon, I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you've like followed any of the just like I guess this narrative as a whole. Like there's obviously a lot in terms of like this idea of like social fi and like monetizing creators and all that, but like is there anything related to your world with the stuff you work on or just in general that you have thoughts on in terms of all that?
Like not too much. I'm personally not very bullish on this. Yeah, I've been seeing like many coin launched in this field and going nowhere. I think one of the biggest one of the major stuff is Pump Up Fund. I think when they launch, when they say they want to do a live stream platform, I think it was pretty interesting, like thesis, right? So like people are not just like there's a way to monetize your uh like your traffic, not just by advertisement, but you can launch a meme coin. I think that was a pretty promising narrative, but it just didn't work. think I see a report like a lot of the top like people in Pump Fund, their coins, the candle chart is like same.
Yeah,
So
literally, and it's like the buybacks they were doing as well, like proved to be pretty meaningless in the end as well. Like the chart is suffering, but yeah, that was a tough pivot when they went to streaming, and they never really backed down from it. It still seems like that's the vision they have for it.
For Pump Fund?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, dude, some guys climbed the Brooklyn Bridge or something, and their coin like went up like $1.
really? I didn't even know. I didn't even know that happened.
Didn't wasn't that what like the guys who leaked the Drake song did?
Or was it? Did they change the Hollywood sign? They put a pump fund thing on the Hollywood
something
sign.
like
They
that.
did that.
Yeah.
They tried to go like not streaking, but like they rushed onto an NBA court during a professional basketball game. Like, man, what are we doing? This is what we're backing as a platform. Like,
The problem is like is like we live in this like such like an attention economy, and when you start doing things, you're constantly in a race to one up yourself or one up the next person to like maintain attention, and like at a certain point you run out of things to do. Like Nick Shirley, for example. Yes, like this Somalian thing is very important right now. People will be talking about it for what, a week. So like, what's your time frame on this creator coin and your bullishness on Nick Shirley as like a creator? It's like a few days, and whenever anybody from outside of crypto enters crypto, I always get this sense that they're grifting. Like there's no authenticity to it, and until we see like examples of authentic people coming into the space launching coins who have no experience, like I can name you. I mean, we can name 200 people that have done it. The fucking president did it. You know?
Yeah, fucking Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy, Mika LaFuente, the greatest. She tricked me.
That's what got you.
That's what got me. That's what got me. That was the creator coin that got
That
me.
was the tipping point.
That was really the tipping point for me. That was all over. But and even like, who's the girl that Ansem was in love with?
I think we've had a few.
I was actually going to bring that up because that was probably the most, I don't know if I want to say genuine or like well intentioned, but that was the most authentic attempt. Was Iggy Azalea, the Australian musician?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
She made a real attempt, just in the sense that like she didn't stop, she didn't go away. Like the price went down, she kept like engaging. She was actually like using protocols on chain and like talking to I think she was doing like a spaces and talking to founders of Solana and stuff. Like I appreciated that there was like a legitimate attempt. It was still ultimately the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was, I think back then Ansem made a couple comments about like, which I think stuck true, and we've just seen like the repetition of this, but he was like, for someone to come in, if they want to be involved, the answer is not to create a coin. It's like, come in as someone who has a following and like show that you actually like care about the space, that you're involved in some capacity as like a user, before you just go and start, trying to basically extract money from the space, which until proven otherwise, which I think we're all a little pessimistic about, like launching a coin is probably not like a value additive solution that does anything for any type of development in the ecosystem.
Yeah, it feels like we're definitely moving away from that now, though. Like it seems like that the whole thing is past. Like I can't really see it coming back, especially with Nick Shirley, the coin failing. I feel like that whole thing is like a big nail in the coffin. I think the Thread Guy video put that in as well. Like,
which is good. I'm glad. Like we probably had to go through all of that, and now we can move on, right? Okay, they've tried everything. They put all the resources. Even Coinbase did it. All right, cool. Didn't work. Let's do something else now. Maybe that's the best case scenario.
Let's do the next dumb thing. I lost so much money on the CCM meta. I like round tripped it so hard because there was like 3 weeks where it was like the thing to trade, right?
I don't remember what it was, but you started to try to talk us into it. You were like you were a buyer of the CCM meta.
I was a buyer of the CCM meta because I was like, Pump Fund is investing in it. We have nothing else to trade. There's no meta to speak of. And if this is going to stick around, you want to have exposure to it. And that's kind of like my thesis. Like whenever like a mini meta pops up, you want to be exposed to whatever the runners of that are, because there is a chance that like you catch the next whiff or you catch the next AI 16Z. Like I would have never caught those if I wasn't like, okay, like these are the winners. There's a small chance that this happens. Gainsey had a really good clip today. I don't know if you guys saw it. He was saying that like all of the dumbest shit is what makes you the most money. He was like, if you told me that like memes were gonna be like the thing 2 years ago, I said that you were an idiot. I didn't buy any of it. And as a result, I had a horrible cycle. I round tripped to buy. I didn't catch anything. It's like, so now I'm going to buy all the dumbest things. I'm going to put 10, 20 grand into these stupid metas, even if I think they're really dumb and have no chance. Because I thought memes were really dumb and had no chance, but
Yeah.
they worked, right? So I think that's kind of the attitude I had towards CCM and I have towards every single meta. It's like, even if I think it's dumb, I'm still going to buy it. I'm like, if it works, then great, I'm a genius. If it doesn't, then like I lose some money. But like the risk reward is much better. And that was my mindset with CCM. Of course, I was wrong, and I round tripped a shit ton of money. But
Well, that's ironic and a pretty good segue to the fact that we have someone here with us today who's actually building something real with some tangible value and a real value proposition. And I think like ultimately there is going to be a shift as crypto continues to mature to like try to see where value can be captured on chain and like what does that mean? Like I think there's still a kind of an existential question of like we all want that, but what does it mean to like move tangible value on chain? And so I think we're excited to have Shin on. Sats, I'm going to let you lead the way here. But yeah.
Yeah. Shin, I read your article on like moving away from like what we've known in the past and sort of moving to more like revenue generated products and products that actually solve real world problems. So like, what do you think is the next step for 2026? But it's a great article as well.
Like for us, or like for crypto in general.
For both. Where does ethsign fit into the 2026? What we're going to see?
Yeah. Actually, our company called Sign. So was eSign was our first product. Like right now, it's just Sign license for sovereign infra for global nations. We're mostly building digital infrastructure for different nations. And I think for 2026, there will be a major shift that people like. I think it's a mentality shift, right? So like just like I think you was Swizzy says, like what are we capturing on chain? So what's the value are we capturing on chain? So that's an interesting question to me because I think the real problem is what can blockchain do for people, right? So it's not like we're not really living on blockchain, right? We're living in this real world, and we want more stuff on chain. So we need so basically we need to sell blockchain to the world. We need to sell people. Okay, what is blockchain? We need to sell our parents when you need to get a non-custodial wallet and start using blockchain. So what's the use case? And what's the problem can be solved on this new technology instead of what like I think Coinbase based people talk about we're gonna bring everything on chain. But
Yeah.
that's a great statement, but it's vague, right? So what are you gonna do, right? What do you mean by bring everything on blockchain? Right? So like by building useful use cases, by like say build best liquidity or something. I think 2026, what we're gonna see is we're gonna go very specific. We're gonna go very concrete, right? So like digital currency, digital ID, digital payment, global payment, cross border settlement. Like what can we do with blockchain? So and the world gonna see real revenue, real use cases. Like and that would be the next step for blockchain.
The one thing you said there, the digital ID thing, I find that like a really interesting topic because in the UK, when the whole idea of digital IDs came about, it was massive pushback, like based on a privacy thing. What is your sort of take on that? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's like the whole privacy thing is just a trade off for a better cause?
I think I think sometimes, like I personally, I'm Chinese. I live in the U.S. I walk across like Eastern Asia and Western world. It's very interesting. Like people have different like reaction to this. Like when I live in Singapore, when I live in UAE, like wherever you have a digital ID, you can prove who you are and access to services. But in like U.S., where a lot of places is very complicated, But still, like, I mean, a lot of people pushing back on digital stuff. But to me, I would say it's inevitable.
Mm,
Like, so right now we're like, except for AI, except for crypto, we're talking about AI all the time. But everything AI is based on data. So like we need a massive data centralization. The massive data centralization will happen because of Meta, because of Google, because of whatever. And digital ID, digital currency is part of the plan. So
mm,
in order to really transforming this world to a AI governed world, like we need to serially digitize a lot of stuff. And
mhm,
digital ID and digital currency is definitely part of the plan. No matter what, I think is going to happen. And for privacy stuff, so like privacy stuff need better solutions. I do agree on that. Like we need they're not proof, we need FHE, but sooner or later it's gonna be digitized. There's
mm,
no way, like, so it's the world is very complicated. Say like some people say, oh, we love privacy, we're gonna stick with cash, we're gonna stick with whatever. It's fine. It's fine. You guys can keep doing that, but the other countries, the other like economy, gonna compete with you, and,
mm,
and you'll see that as a huge disadvantage for your own growth or something, and soon you're gonna lose, and you have to catch up. So it's not like you can do what you want. You have to like join this infinite war with the other people. So I think digitalization is definitely one of the mega narrative of our time. So like
mm,
it's like an,
mm. No, I sort of agree. It's like sort of the inevitable, isn't it? Like
yeah.
it's bound to happen at some point. It's just who does it right and who can please both parties. Like who can please Republicans who are focused on safety and who can please Democrats by sort of leaning into the whole like it actually just does make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I see a lot with ethsign as well. You guys are like pretty big onto the stablecoin narrative going into 2026 as well. Like, what is your thoughts there? It seems like you're trying to bring more governments on chain and to mint their own stablecoins and things like that. I found that really interesting. Like, that is right up my street. So,
Yeah, still a company called Science. So
mm,
like we are so we're very interested in building the new money system.
mhm,
I think blockchain is the most important stuff, and we're interested in helping central banks because right now like most of the money we're using are so basically every day, like say every day in daily life, we're using money that issued by central banks, and in this world that most people don't use gold. Most people are using a token that the central bank control the tokenomics, right? So that's this version, this from the from 200 years ago to now, and we're helping them to digitize, helping central banks to digitize their currency. We're helping three country issuing central bank digital currency. We're helping them as well issuing national stablecoin
mm,
because we're talking a lot of countries, even for smaller countries, they're not like US. They don't the way they do things is not like they will give lessons to a bunch of private companies to do stable coins like Tether or Circle. The way they do things is they can do it by themselves
mm,
because it's not a big enough country, and they have a strong enough like enforcement, so they have to do it by themselves. We're helping them launching their national stablecoin. Like Kyrgyzstan just launched their national stablecoin and got listed on Binance, and we're involved in that. When we also build digital currency system for central bank Kyrgyzstan, so we also build a bridge between those two system. By the way, I think next year will be like it will be very interesting because China was announced they're gonna push for CBDC start from January 1st
mm,
uh, next year, so which is a couple days. Like and US is pushed for stablecoin, and I can see many countries are thinking, okay, so which company we're going to join, or we join them both. But either way, I think in the future there will be two systems, and there will be a lot of problems. But the end goal of this two system is to build the next generation of the world money system, like global money system, like where we don't use like all the banks. We don't need to if you send money from US to a country. You don't really need to route between banks, SWIFT, and central bank, all the other stuff will just convert. Your money will be converted to a stable coin and converted and offer them to with another currency. That's
Mm.
the future.
So
Yeah.
sorry, not to cut you off, Shin, but I'm just curious, like maybe break it down for us, like so just for context, like a lot of our audience here is like primarily traders, on-chain traders, like I'd say crypto native, but like there's, this is I think the world of like the institutionalization of crypto and like all everything that goes on with the regulation and all that is kind of like new and foreign to a lot of us. So like if you could break it down on like a simple level, like how does this process work in terms of like you said Kyrgyzstan, for example, creating their own. They want to have their own stable coin that matches their currency. Maybe this happens with every country. In the future, it's everywhere, and each country has its own stable coin that matches everything. So now everything's digitized. Like, how do you do that? Like, is it just you're finding contacts within the government, you're working with them, and you're a trusted provider knows how to do this, or like what positions you guys to be able to do this? Because it sounds so simple. It sounds like, yeah, obviously France should have their own stable coin, or like the EU, for example, like should have whatever, but it can't be. I mean, it's not as easy as just minting a token on Pump Fund and being like, all right, like we just did it, right? So how does this process work? Like, can you educate us on like what makes you guys positioned to do it and how the process goes?
Yeah, so we started doing this like 2 years ago. Like we will start to think, okay, like because previously we have a product, a token table, we do token airdrop and unlocks, and and notice the native assets volume and size is way smaller. So we start to work with the traditional world, and I started to think about, okay, so the biggest hurdle of crypto adoption is actually government, because it's actually different system, different structure. Like government is hierarchical and the crypto is flat. So so we need to work with the government to making sure we are providing the, the right stuff. So we start to talk to them, start to understand them. Like the most important thing is we need to understand what they care. What do they really care? Right. So for a country, the most important thing is actually sovereignty, right?
Mm.
So actually a lot of small countries don't really have physical sovereignties. Basically, the strong the superpower country as their neighbors, they can do whatever. They basically can do a lot of things. But still, right? So in what's about like digital sovereignty? Can they control their own, like if they launch a token? And just you think of a country, think of a large corporation, or think of even a huge token, right? So if you launch a token and you have your, like think of the nation as a layer one, right? So you have a token, and you have a lot of developers, you have a lot of users, and a lot of apps in your ecosystem. That so like everybody's happy, and suddenly like from the other chain, the native token called USDT, it called US dollar,
Mm.
people start to use USDT on your system, and it's a huge disruption to your economy and to your tokenomics. And what you're gonna do is called dollarization, actually. So I think World Bank and UN talk about a lot about this. If like dollarization happen in more countries, actually for a lot of small countries, they don't really have enough power to govern their system. Right? People can easily use USDT on their settlement and stuff for tax evasion, and people can easily use USDT, and nobody use their own currency. What still can the government control, right? Um, so we're helping them restore their digital economy, like digital sovereignty, and by providing them the best system, like central bank digital currency and stable coins. So the system itself, as our like value prop is definitely we're the best builder building this two system, and stablecoin system is relatively simple. We need to integrate with one or many banks. Like if like say we build a system, like if we receive money, like we will mint token. If we get request by like burning token, so we burn token and send money somewhere to someone's account. But central bank digital currency is actually way larger, uh, scope of work. Like it's very complicated. Basically, it have three layers: central bank, commercial banks, and retail. So we need to build a basically like digital, or you can imagine digital currency as a massive database base. And in that database, as everybody's money. So it's an
Yeah.
important enough database. It's complicated enough database. You need to have all kind of like capital control, all kind of you need to enforce all the policy in real world into this database.
Yeah.
And we
A lot.
yeah, we spend a lot of time on that. That's our strength.
Yeah, something that I think is interesting you guys are working on is the whole like document and ID stuff, and I think that's going back for so long. People have made arguments like what are the true real use cases of blockchain, and it's like stable coins, and it's like putting documents on the blockchain like IDs, birth certificates, uh, whatever it is. I guess my biggest question is like why has no one really tackled that problem before? Um, and what makes you guys qualified, or why like are you guys going to beat everybody at doing that first?
I think so. The first thing is like we started as Ethereum ecosystem project, but the way how Ethereum ecosystem pushing is interesting. Like so, previously you see like how foundation doing things is, you raise a lot of money and you build a foundation and you start to hackathon. So you basically you're waiting for like builders in your ecosystem to push for adoption, but gradually you realize okay, it's not going to work because they don't have enough strengths, right? So like if whoever really can push a use case in real adoption that need a lot of stuff. It's not just about technical stuff. It's about like financial like alignment. Or if you're building important enough services for a country, do the country have a share in this? Do a country like what's the revenues sharing? What's the all kind of alignment work? So there's a lot of work. Previously, I think like most of the crypto native world don't really spend a lot of time on this, but gradually, like because of the shrinking of crypto native world, where like say the centralization of value to Bitcoin and then altcoin, so like altcoin people like me, so we'll spend more time on seriously pushing adoption. So we focus
Mm.
on a country, like some people focusing on logistics companies, some people focusing on payment companies. So like
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting, like, you guys are building something, like, super cool and super, like, practical and useful, and then, there was this big article that came out, by this guy Sissels or whatever. It got, like, 13 million views, called "The Prison of Financial, Mediocrity," basically how, like, everybody is just pivoting to gambling because they don't stand a chance at anything, and this was, like, the main thesis behind, like, the, meme coin super cycle so long ago, but I thought he laid it out so well about how like he has this line in it. It's like why grind away for 20 years at a job for something that won't even be a job in 10 years from now. And
Mm.
like when I hear people talk about like, oh, we're building for the future, but like people don't like it's becoming increasingly clear to me that people don't like normal ass people don't really have a chance anymore, and their only way is to like hyper speculate on things like prediction markets or meme coins or whatever. And crypto at its core is a casino, has always been a casino. um and like
I
i
don't,
i
yeah. I don't
like
think
and and
Satoshi
and
agreed with
and
that.
we've
Yeah.
always like and we've always talked about how we're going to go back to use cases. I remember last cycle we talked about like things that are cash flowing, Aave, Maple Finance, whatever. We're going to be the things we bought this cycle. Go look at those charts; like they've done nothing. I
Mm.
guess uh, Sats or Swizzle, like what makes you guys like? Do you think there will be a return to use case coins, or like are we going to just keep on gambling on vaporware like we always have?
I think it's a tough one because it's like the ability to forecast this market is becoming pretty much impossible. And I think that's sort of sped run with how I made a tweet the other day and like how Claude Code and Cursor is sort of like took over, and these vibe coded apps, you can't even tell if some of them are vibe coded anymore. So I think the blur between like what we view as meme coins and then utility will sort of merge together. I feel like that's already happening. Like how people like some people are trying to vibe code stuff and then launch it straight onto Pump Fund and then like go for their first dollar in revenue, which I think is actually an interesting concept, instead of just a flat out nothing burger. But yeah,
I think it's pretty simple. Like people will go to wherever they can make money.
yeah,
Like say a meme coin keep pumping, like people will go to meme coins. If like say there's more like coins that they make enough money, like say, or like the coin keep going up, like people will like attention will definitely come to this area. So you just
mm,
take because right now most of crypto company doesn't make money, don't make money, or like they make money basically because of their like casino business model.
mm,
Like if, there's a more like company like Tether. If Tether have a coin, imagine what the coin price will be, right? So
yeah,
like that's so if there's a more like actually by the way I think so I'm not totally fully agree on like say everybody is doing casino. If you see was who's the largest company in crypto, I say Tether have 800 billion
yeah,
valuation right now, and they're not
Yeah.
casino.
mm,
So
Yeah, actually, question for you on that, Shin. Like, I think
yeah,
I'm curious if I'm interpreting what you're saying accurate. So let me know if I'm putting words in your mouth that aren't really what you're saying. But like, it almost feels like you've applied this focus to, okay, there's this institutionalization of crypto where for the first time in history we have a chance to really onboard real global liquidity. Like, this is the avenue you guys are kind of directing, like, this is how we get international markets, everything coming on digitized. So all of a sudden it's like you can do everything from, the stuff that has taken center stage in 2023, the meme coin degeneracy, NFTs, all that stuff, real, like governing regulation, forex, like go across the wide range of everything. Like, am I correct in saying that you're kind of saying we're going to tackle this big fish, which is how do we make this stuff all integrate seamlessly so that it can all just happen and we don't have to think about, are we on chain or are we off chain? It's just all digitized, and then every type of activity. And we've had this terminology of internet capital markets has been like a hot term. No one knows what that means. No one knows how to define it. Like, some people thought it was okay, that startups raising money on chain. Some people, were saying it was something entirely different. But like, the conception of internet capital markets, meaning that like money is just flowing freely across the internet, with no borders, with no like, constraints as far as which currency you want to use, and having to go through some regulated entity to switch it out. Like, is that basically what you guys are saying? Like, hey, we are going to tackle the behemoth of like providing the option for all of these entities to get on digitally, and then people can go do whatever they want and there's no constraints, and now it's just all, there's access to everyone. Like, is that kind of part of this, or am I off base here?
yeah, so sort of, but that's basically too broad. Like I think what we're really focusing on is so firstly I think like money can like freely flow on the internet is already achieved, right? So we already have like USDT or USDC, you can send it to whoever is already done. But like I think what we do is like we're basically using our technical power to empower like more and more countries like to build their digital infrastructure. And so I think but I think like there was a question about like why we're doing this, or how come we do or we're doing this, not the other people. Why the
mm,
other
Right.
people are doing this? It's because mentality. I think like most of people have this mentality that they always think themselves as a native person. So they think about how can we bring things on chain? How can we use blockchain to do A B C D? They don't think about why. But we're sitting on the government perspective. Okay, so what they want to do, they want to let's say digital sovereignty. They want to making sure that their data is secure. They want to control their money, their own like fiat tokenomics. They want to controlling like whatever. We're sitting from on their seat, and we'll think about okay, how can we using technology to help them? And we'll definitely identify blockchain as best technology for like digital currency, for verifiability, for a lot of stuff, and we're building the system for them. So I think it's a mentality shift, right? So like we're not like thinking about how we're not like we're not bullish on blockchain just because blockchain is cool. We're bullish on blockchain because blockchain can solve real problems, and like all these countries, all these institutions, they actually need people to help them. Right? They don't. As we can easily see that, right? They don't understand that much. Like they don't know like what to really use, right? So like a lot of stuff like don't really even work. Like
Yeah.
so, like we're helping them. So
Yeah.
that's
So,
a simple
so what
story.
are like some of the best examples of like if you guys are successful, best case scenario, this all plays out, you successfully help all these, these entities do that. Like, what are some
Yeah.
of the things that we'll be able to see as just, everyday people in our daily lives? Like, what would be kind of like the ripple effect of that we would be able to
It's
see that's beneficial to us?
it's very simple. Like it's already live. Say like we Kyrgyzstan national stablecoin is already live and launched on Binance. So right now, like we're creating a payment rail based on like KGST. It's called KGST and KGST and USDT. So basically, right now, if you want to send money from like US to Kyrgyzstan or to UAE, so the payment rail will be, so we'll convert your USD into USDT and convert your USDT into the other stablecoin like KGST or a UAE stablecoin, and then offer them to your bank. So the whole payment rail will cost you 2 minutes and 20 bips. So compared to Swift, that's 100 times faster, 100 times cheaper. So it's already happening.
As,
And
as, no, go on.
yeah, and I think for people within the country, like so they don't need to worry about, okay, so like if we're helping like more country, direct central bank directly issuing stable coin, we'll call it central bank digital currency. It's a complicated concept, but if central bank directly issue their like a stable coin, directly issue their fiat on a public chain, so you don't ever worry about, oh, this is gonna DPEG or whatever. It's central bank, and what they issue is real money. So like this is gonna solve a lot of problem, make a lot of things easier. Like make sure on ramp off ramp is never become the problem. So it's gonna happen as long as you start to work with the government.
I had a question on your buybacks as well. I saw in one of the roadmaps you guys had like 12 mil buybacks planned, and like obviously you've probably seen how that's gone for the likes of Pump Fun, the success it saw for Hype. But I think we've got two, like one really good case scenario on one really bad case scenario. Where do you see yours playing out?
About buybacks.
Yeah.
I think yeah, I think like we already did that with the 4 million buyback from previous investors and 8 million buyback on market. Like we have a huge mistake. We make a huge mistake on this buyback is because we bought back on central exchange. We should have buyback on DEX so everybody can see. But yeah, but I think that's the for us that's the simplest like tokenomics. Like we're a company like we're like making money, so we're using the our development company to keep buying token back from uh, market and keep storing lock it for future.
That's interesting. Did you have a lot of pushback when you bought on like through a centralized exchange and no one could see, like the versus on chain? Was that like a big pushback from people?
Yeah. There's a lot of people like so we basically we showed them like our trading like history on central exchanges was the like Devco company account. So but still like we'll do it on Dex next time.
Would you say this is an interesting topic because I like at a breakpoint this was a massive thing of token founders saying they wish they didn't have the token, not necessarily they didn't wish they had the token, but it's been like a net negative. Do you see the token being a net positive for your business or a net negative?
Um, it's an interesting question. I think for a lot of businesses, you don't really need a token. But if
You
you
don't have to
want
be politically correct with us, by the way. We're
to,
we're
I think
all honesty here.
yeah, but like yeah, I want to say like you're here not just for business, right? So like we're cryptocurrency, right? So like there's an opportunity, like as a young founder, like there's the how what's the case, what's the opportunity, what's the chance you can launch a top 20 stock,
Yeah.
but what's the chance you can launch a top 20 coin?
Yeah.
Right? So like coin is not a just a, also coin is not stock, right? Coin is not like equity, like security. Coin is a media, right? You can use coin as a media to interact with people. whoever bought your coin is your people, and you guys should like funded socially and financially. So like coin is way more thing. So there's like tokenomics can be changed. A lot of things can be changed as long as you really love your coin and love your company. So I say like this is a whole different new game. But some people don't like the game, so they can just do whatever they like.
Yeah.
But for me, I love. I don't never think of this negative stuff. I'm here. You think about like you do business because you want your coin to go better,
Yeah.
right? So like the thing we do is for the coin, for the success of the coin. The coin will be everything. It's actually more important than everything.
Yeah.
I love that you embrace
I love
that
that
because
answer.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I like that answer.
I think that is the original ethos of, like, I saw your distaste for Wood's comment about crypto being a casino when he said that, and I saw you start to talk about Satoshi, but like there's some original like ethos in that of like what crypto's about, and I think there's a lot of people who are kind of losing that, or like kind of saying, well, why do we have to go into that? Why do we need to focus? Let's just build a business and not have to be accountable to like the
Yeah,
token
just
holders or the people. But it's like that's kind of what this is, right? That's what you're signing up for, and there are negatives, but it's kind of one of the beauties of this thing too, right?
yeah, it's a massive like network effect. But before you get to the point, that you need to accumulate a lot for a long time, and then you have the network effect. But like before that, like yeah, you have to. But like a lot of people, I think people whoever say this because inherently they don't want to launch a coin, but they think they can make a quick buck, but they didn't. So they say, oh, we should just we shouldn't do a coin. These guys don't love like cryptocurrency like in their heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there's just such there has been and probably will continue to be just a disalignment of incentives across crypto because you can launch a token, you can make a shit ton of money really, really quickly, and then forget about your project forever and just walk off into the sunset. We've seen that happen time and time again. And whether you have a token or you have a product that generates a ton of revenue, like an Axiom or a Dex screener or whatever it is, where they've just kind of been like, great, I made my hundreds of millions of dollars and I have absolutely no reason to work on this project anymore. And I just wash my hands of it and move on to the next thing. And like you could argue Pump Fund might do that next. They've become billionaires. Why in the world would I ever iterate on this product? I'll go do something else or whatever, but I've made my money on this. And until those incentives are fixed, tokens will continue to be what they are, which has largely been a cash grab. There are, however, this is not always the case. What you're describing is not a cash grab. You're someone who deeply cares about your token and you want to add value to it and you want to add use case to it. And we need more people kind of like that in the space. And we need people who are speculators to appreciate that more as well, because speculators are here to make a quick dollar as well. And they're going to speculate on the things that they can make money on the quickest instead of investing and build and betting on people that are building. And that's just kind of the state of things are today.
Yeah, but it's have to. But based on my experience, it has it had to balance out. Like I mean, otherwise, because like people who if you trade too much, like the frequency of your trading, like too many trades you make today, like within one day, like sometimes is bad for your performance. Yeah,
Yeah, you're chopping yourself up.
yeah,
I think we see a pivot back to there's this whole thing about hold time and people having shorter and shorter hold times as time's gone on. I think the pendulum does swing back to a longer period and people turn to. I think the most gains this cycle has been made off people investing. Like the big winners were in hype and shit and tokens like that this cycle. But I do like what you said. The tokens more based on like a media thing, like price going up will bring way more attention to sign as a whole, and I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
I feel
price
like there's
going up
been
always been the best marketing.
Yeah, literally.
there's been kind of like I feel like during this cycle there's been this sentiment shift of, people would always say don't talk, they didn't want people to talk about token price, don't talk about your token, like focus on the product or whatever, as if it was some blasphemous thing. But I think like that's not necessarily right. The thing is, like, we want the founder to care about the token price. We just want him to care about it for certain reasons and not other reasons, right? Like caring about it is a good thing. it depending on what the reasons are and what the incentives are and what they're trying to build. And so I think we kind of need to like I don't know if cleanse is the right word, like recalibrate and like shift back to like that being okay for a founder to talk about their token and have wanting it to go up and that not being a bad thing, you know?
Part of the reason like people stop talking too much about the token is the legal stuff. I think
Yeah.
like
Right,
so
right.
there was a time like when people start to talk about token, they will say, "Oh, this I had to check with my lawyer." I was that's yeah
Yeah.
Well, Gary Gensler did that to a lot of people. I
yeah
think he sparked some fear, understandably so. So
And Trump undid all of that. There's
Yeah.
no talking to lawyers anymore. There's just fucking fire it off. Uh,
yeah. So, yeah, now we're in good time. So like it's actually just too
yeah.
important. You have
Yeah,
you have
it's so interesting to me that like we're in this golden era of like regulation, with an ability to build and kind of do almost anything you really want to, yet also this dichotomy of like people fleeing to like hyper gambling simultaneously. And it's like what wins out in the end is going to be an interesting thing. Crypto, I think, we're going to head towards a place where you're going to be using it to solve problems that need to be solved that crypto just so happens to be the best platform for, kind of like what you said, Shin, how like the blockchain is a good place to be doing this. We're just going to use it because this is the best place to do it. Versus historically, we've kind of like forced a square into a round hole with crypto. I mean, we talked about Nick, whatever his name was, the Somalia guy. Like that is just not a use case for crypto. It's stupid. It makes no sense. So hopefully, we can all get back to using crypto for what it was meant to be used for, and use cases that actually make sense. And it sounds like you at Sign are definitely working on doing
yeah
that.
yeah. Don't worry about that. I think like when we're checking with like we're talking about a lot of traditional people. Like when we see how their system, what's the system they're using today, that's they're still using papers. Like so,
Mm.
like blockchain for them is like it's just 1,000 years advanced.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
like there's too many things can be certainly digitized and moved on chain. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
all right, Shin,
definitely.
I have one more question for you. Unrelated to sign, so not anything you are working on, but for the year 2026 or the near future, what is one other thing happening in crypto that has you excited that you have your eye on?
uh, I think probably cryptocurrency renaissance. Like say like I heard you guys talk about like ZC that was a coin like people are discuss a lot like when I joined crypto like 2017 2018, but like for the past years nobody care about Dash, nobody talk about Monero.
Mm.
But I would say like it will be a renaissance for these like cryptocurrencies where they distribute it to their miners, not to their VC investors or like their team or whoever. Like there will be a shift. I would say the VC era has ended officially.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
all these coins, good luck to them. And for like we're gonna go back to like say after other than casino, we're gonna go back to the real cryptocurrencies where they have real community and huge distribution. Like so that will be very interesting.
I like
Yeah,
that. Like the VC era has ended. I kind of agree. Like there's
yeah,
been a lot of things this cycle that come out that have just been, VCs have near full unlocks 3 months deep, and they
Yeah,
just sell off.
I mean,
So
you just said you just talked about like say the guy will say, "Oh well, we should build a business. Why should I talk care about a coin?" So
mm,
this kind of stuff is a typical thing when a VC bring a good CV guy from traditional world to crypto, tell them, "Oh, come to crypto, can make quick buck, and do a
yeah.
company.
Yeah.
I give you a narrative." And that guy tried for 2 3 years and will say something like this: "I
Mm,
shouldn't do this. I should go back to traditional business. I never should launch a coin."
mm,
These people don't believe
yeah.
in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, they should
Right.
just let
Hmm.
them go.
Here for the wrong reasons.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, I hope we can get a few hundred, maybe thousand X's in the new year. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope all those things you said too, Shin, definitely building, all that good stuff. I kind of want 1000x too, though.
Maybe it's signed. Maybe you have it right
Maybe it
here.
is.
Yeah, there
Maybe
you
it's
go.
right in front of your face. Maybe
Shin
it
can't
is.
say that, but I can.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh man, sweet. It was awesome having you on the show today, Shin. Thanks for chatting, man. It's
Thanks.
great to get to know you and learn more about Sign. Swizzle, Sats, any parting words for our guests before we wrap this up?
No, that was good. Definitely spot on. I love the concept. I love your ideas on tokens and that. I think it was refreshing having someone who really cares about the token and not the vesting schedule on. So
Yeah. But by the way, I think next year there will be more countries like doing all the crypto related stuff, and we'll see a lot of good news in Q1.
Sweet.
Nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, you as
We
well.
can't wait to trade the Kyrgyzstan currency soon on chain.
It's already live on finance.
Oh, perfect.
The Swizzle Forex will be studied.
Don't buy stablecoin, okay?
We are off on Friday. We'll be back Wednesday of next week, 1/7. We have in a wild turn of events from what we're doing today. We have one of my favorite crypto photo personalities, Lexapro, coming on the pod. So he'll be here Wednesday, 1/7, 12 p.m. Eastern. Be great, but we're off for the holiday for the rest of this week. Thanks, everybody. Again, go check out FOMO, download it, use promo code RISKON if you haven't.